Hello, everybody. Back.
Hello.
Dissonant
Hello and
Wave.
welcome to the favorite vaccine conspiracy chat.
Oh,
Yes, I got my second dose of microchips.
getting my second dose tomorrow as of this recording. So that's gonna be fun.
And I haven't got a vaccine, not because I'm anti-vax, but because Scott Morrison can't get his fucking act together. And the rest of the Liberal Party. Good shit here. Good shit.
But as we slowly progress our way to getting vaccinated and hopefully returning to some kind of society as it was, not going to truly be as it was, still going to be different, but something. We have some things to actually review and talk about. Some albums, some EPs. So 2021 episode. So it's going to be all new music for the most part, except for the parts where
Well-
it's not.
Yeah,
And if that confuses you,
I cheated and chose an album from 10 years ago that was re-released with a bunch of material that was never released, really, in mainstream.
Yeah, it's like it's Powderfinger all over again.
well,
Yeah.
the difference was is that those tracks were all released before with the Powderfinger.
Sure. And that's Shakey Graves, Roll the Bones X.
Yes.
We also have Black Country New Road and their debut album for the first time. That's Riddlin's pick there. And
Hell yeah.
in full form, keeping with what I choose, I chose OK Cool and Mitchell J, which I've learned throughout the week. OK Cool is just part of the Weekend Run Club. So I basically chose the
I
Weekend
thought
Run
you
Club.
knew.
I didn't know.
Well, when I saw that you picked Mitchell J, I didn't even knew that OK Cool had a new EP out. But when I saw that you're doing comparisons and Mitchell, I was like, okay, has OK Cool put out a new EP? And they had. So I'm like, oh yeah, you must be doing the OK Cool. And you only did it because OK Cool collaborated with Mitchell.
On the one
But
song,
I thought you knew.
No, I had another EP lined up for this that I swapped out at the last minute when I saw that OK Cool had collabed.
It's just I would have thought you out of all of us would have known.
I never bothered to look at the OK Cool very much, and nobody
I
bothered
just
to
I
say.
just remember I think I was looking at the Twitter ones. I can't remember why. Probably because I was bored. Who knows? But and they were advertising the OK Cool. I think it was I Can't Stand in Ice Skate's single.
I mean, they've also talked about August Hotel and other bands from Chicago that are like it's. So
I think with this one they actually like wrote on their Twitter, "Hey, two of the members."
I just didn't see that. I just had no idea. Now we're here and we're talking about DEARMAN Down, and then the two OK Cool EPs, mostly Surrealist, but also Anomia. Anomia being a single that's an EP, but also a single. I hate that distinction.
Should we start with the EP since we've already kind of started on it?
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the Weekend Run Club in name, but not in name.
I kind of want to start with the Mitchell J EP because, well, it's only the one EP and is it the shortest? No, I think Ammonia is the shortest.
Anomia is definitely shorter, but
yeah,
it's only one Mitchell J EP.
Yeah, well, the songs are pretty short on the Mitchell J EP as well, and I actually think this is despite you not knowing and despite the Weekend Run Club thing, I think this is actually really interesting in comparison to do because all the reasons I like the Mitchell J EPs are why the OK Cool ones are lacking, and the reasons that I like the OK Cool EPs are lacking on the Mitchell J.
So this format has finally born something very interesting, and not just an excuse to put EPs on the podcast.
Although I will say I do hope, especially with this OK Cool EPs, I know I was saying Mitchell J first, but we'll get the Weekend Run Club kind of talks in here while we can. I do hope that some of the singers, I forget what the band members' names are for OK Computer. OK Computer. I've already fucked up. OK Cool. I know one's Bridget. I don't know what the other member is, unfortunately.
I'm looking.
But whoever is the singer, I actually hope might get a bit more lead vocal duties. Not main vocals, but probably more prominent in whatever Weekend Run Club does from here.
Yeah, something more
Because
textured.
I think she's got some nice vocal delivery on her as well. So,
Some pipes.
and there wasn't really much backing vocals.
Bridget and Haley is the other one.
Like all the backing vocals that I can kind of remember in the Recount Run Club were masculine,
Yeah.
and it's not to say that you always have to have gendered vocals or anything, but there is always quite a lot of contrast between masculine and feminine vocals, which can quite work. I mean, Big Scary does that quite a lot, and they're pretty good at it. So
Yeah, Middle East has
it's
a lot
not
of
a
mix like
yeah,
that.
Middle East does it as well. It's not something that's like required to do for them, but it would be something that would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting considering that OK Cool seems to have hit on a little bit of its own success. Or it's like
Well,
Anthony Fantano ended up
yeah,
doing
that's,
an OK
that's
Cool
what
song.
I was going to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was he was doing a stream of reviewing listeners' music, and OK Cool's submitted Five Finger whatever
Exploding
the
Heart
rest of the title.
Technique.
Exploding
Yeah.
Heart Technique.
I think of Five Finger, and the next word's a Death Punch, and I'm like, no, that's the worst comparison you can do.
And this
I feel like comparing anyone to Five Finger Death Punch is an insult in itself.
This is a Kill Bill reference.
I never watched Kill Bill, so that's probably why I don't get it.
Kill Bill is like the only Tarantino movie I've seen.
Fair. But I guess to talk about Mitchell, it's 4 tracks. Is the first I'm blanking in the first one already. Discount Benjamin and then Vibe Milk, I think is the first half, and then I don't know, and Shapeshift and Lie is the other half.
I think there's some very interesting production in this in this EP. Not this. I don't know what I was going to say. P. Like it's weird to get what is essentially a pop album or a pop EP, I guess, and it be so minimalistic.
Yeah, Mitchell was. I had asked Mitchell about just to have them to say something about the whole thing because I was curious because there's really not much to do research on with it because
he doesn't even have a Bandcamp for this. Which tell him to put this on Bandcamp.
I did.
So I can buy it.
Hopefully it'll happen. It's just like I just got to do it, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, the whole thing was basically that it was a DIY project, like to prove to Mitchell, like to themselves, that they could do this and like have it be something and not have to worry about like perfectionism. Like,
it's definitely something that shows on Shapeshift and Lie that this is an EP where he really just wanted to be more comfortable with his vocals. Like I remember when you talked to him after we did review, and he mentioned about how he appreciated that we liked his vocals because that was something he was pretty self-conscious about.
Right.
And then my mother came and fucked that up.
I mean, that was the like the hot take on the Australian Discord as well, was like the vocals were like the breaking point.
A couple people couldn't get into them at the start, but they grew on a lot of people, except thou shall not be named.
I mean, but people can say the same thing about Jeff Mangum, so
yeah. But I mean, for me, I think they're a lot rougher on this EP than they are on the Recount Run Club album.
Yeah.
It feels somewhat intentional at times, but also a bit grating, mostly in Shapeshift and Lie. Like, the whole "this is as high as I can sing" part feels definitely intentional, which I like it, but it is still a bit grating to hear.
Sure. I'm not gonna say Shapeshift and Lie is anywhere near my favorite song this week.
I think the best one off this EP is Vibe Milk.
Yeah, I think Discount Benjamin and Vibe Milk are the 2 tracks that I'm actually really.
It's a really catchy beat and kind of it's new atmospheric background to the whole song in Vibe Milk.
Yeah, it's got like that weird sound sample thing going on.
I like the lyric of being on your own on my own jury, but I was on the other team, which is the whole kind of self-conscious criticizing yourself kind of shit that's going for it. Okay, I thought that was despite the kind of I'm just trying to think of a great way to say emo without saying emo.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the OK Cool stuff kind of can put that a little bit more in the emo category.
Yeah, but like, despite the kind of like angsty, like whenever you kind of talk about like criticizing yourself, I'm just going to use the word angsty, even if it's not really angsty. Like, it's a pretty fun lyric though. That's the weird part about it.
Yeah, and like we talk about Discount Benjamin's more of an experiment in auto tuning. I think Vibe Milk was maybe relying less on that and maybe more on finding a cool beat to use.
Mm.
And then
And I don't know was the lead single to this EP, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Which I gotta say I don't know. It's probably my least favorite just because it's the least memorable.
It's
I think Vibe Milk should have been the
I agree.
lead single to this EP.
Vibe Milk was the one that I listened to first, and I was like, oh, actually, this EP might be something. Then I listened to I Don't Know, and it's like, okay, there's some balance to it. My thing with I Don't Know is that I was not. My family was religious enough, but it never became an issue in terms of like how I was accepted, right? So I don't have that experience of extreme Catholic guilt, religious, religion, overshadowing the fact that I'm gay or something, right?
It's religion is definitely one of those things where, especially with the Catholics, I don't want to get too deep into it. I was raised Catholic.
I was raised Catholic as well.
But like I'm more practicing, especially from like my grandparents, and yeah, it definitely the Catholic guilt is real and strong as hell.
Right.
You see, I'm like on a completely different spectrum because my dad was a militant atheist. I don't know why I said was. He still is.
It's just interesting to me because it's like the whole, like gay persecution, queer persecution from within that religious fold is such like a documented trope in a way that it's hard for me because I didn't exactly grow up in that to relate to it as much. So it's like I don't want to like come off bashing it or anything, but it's also like I know what this is. It's not as memorable to me. I feel bad for saying that.
Well, Mitchell has kind of always had a bit of Catholicism and church referenced in his lyrics. I mean,
Yeah.
Weekend Run Club, Casually Dancing has the line that I went to church on time for once and they kicked me out because I won't make it.
Right. I guess like I go for songs like Discount Benjamin or Vibe Milk because they're more interesting or I can relate to them more. It's like, okay, you have the balance and I Don't Know, and Shapeshift and Lie is something else. And I appreciate those two, but it's a little bit front loaded for me.
Look, I think it's definitely a great effort for if this is the first time that he's mostly done all the writing, all the
production stuff and everything.
Yeah. Then this is a pretty good start.
I mean,
if he's done this mostly to help him get over like the kind of self-criticism that he's done, I think he's doing a fantastic job of it because it can be quite scary to put out stuff that you don't think is perfect.
Right. But I mean, like, this is almost like you could just compare this to our EPs even.
Well, the difference is that it wasn't me caring about reception or if I was good or not. I just wanted to make a funny meme.
Sure. I just appreciate the whole DIY, make an EP and just see how it goes. And I feel like since we tried that, I feel a little bit of kinship to that.
And I keep sampling your EP.
And
on that note, I was gonna make a track for that DRI supergroup, and then I started to hate it. It got boring, so I no longer made a track for that.
I appreciate you still sampling my EP.
I will forever sample your EP. It's like whenever I want like sad emo shit as a quote, I just go to your EP and just get you and what was his name?
Andrew.
Andrew, yeah. You acting out a fight, and that's all I need.
What was the thing you said about me? I every 10 lines I created a great emo quote or something.
Yep. It's like every 10 messages you send, you got a great emo quote on there.
Yeah, like one of them was about how I ate like too many hot dogs or something.
Yeah, eat what you want. I want you to be happy. That was it.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I think I'm gonna get the full line on that. It's just gonna search up hot dogs in the chat. Where was it? Yep, yeah. So that was actually it.
What you need to do.
You wrote, "Please eat what makes you happy. I just want to know you're okay." That would be such a great emo song title.
I think I've already said this before, but the challenge I have to you is just make a song out of just quotes like that I've written. Chat.
I could probably make an EP from that. The problem is getting someone to sing that.
Yeah, that comes later. The high concept part comes first.
Anyway, I think
Yeah,
I think I
Mitchell.
just want to move on to the okay, cool, and we'll do some comparisons to that. But
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, we started.
Craig favorites and least favorites is I reckon 5 Mil's the best off this album by far. I think Shapeshift and Lie has a great concept to it, even if the song itself isn't such a high point. It's not like it doesn't belong on this EP as well. So I appreciate more Shapeshift and Lie more than I like it, and I don't know, it's probably my least favorite.
The two.
I'll go ahead, Dominic.
No, you go first.
My favorite is actually probably Shapeshift and Lie. I'm surprised. I'll get more into it into OK Cool when we talk about OK Cool themselves. But I quite like their instrumentation and songwriting, and it really lends itself to Mitchell's voice, which I mean makes sense because this is just like a 3/4 Weekend Run Club song.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a least favorite because EP was short enough to not really have one to select.
I mean, for me, I just like Discount Benjamin and Vibe Milk pretty well. I think those two songs are interesting, and I don't care as much about I Don't Know and Shapeshift and Lie. That's pretty much how it breaks down.
Okay, let's talk about some OK Cool. I'll just get this out of the way. This is currently my favorite EP of the year.
Wow.
I am actually surprised myself, seeing as the Ammonia EP. I listened to when it came not when it came out, when I found out that it came out, I listened to, and just didn't really grab me at all. You couldn't really ask me how the songs went. It's just kind of in one ear and out the other. But this one actually really enjoy. Songs like the opening 3 songs are just fantastic. Especially Five Finger Heart Exploding Technique or whatever it's called.
Close enough.
I also like Hurts to Bees with its outro, the intro song, I Should Buy a Sword.
Which that's an eternal mood.
My reaction was the complete opposite of yours, in that I did not really get into Surrealist as much as I got into Anomia. Because Surrealist... Go ahead.
I just want to say that the EP art for this as well is fantastic.
Yeah. That's just like a guy's head on fire, basically.
And I love it.
And my issue with Surrealist was that Surrealist just felt like this Venn diagram of like, it's kind of Taco Cat, it's kind of Courtney Barnett, it's kind of Beach Bunny.
I did not get that vibe, not gonna lie.
Like, I definitely
that might be why I liked it so much.
I can somewhat see the Beach Bunny.
I mean, the vocals sound very Courtney Barnett like.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, but
like not as like
Courtney Barnett has such a strong accent to her.
Besides the accent, like the intonation is similar.
I'm gonna spoil it and say that this is my number 1 of the week, Surrealist.
Wow. Okay.
There's just a bass that gets you.
It's just kind of everything. This is like my vibe.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it took me some time to like digest it, and like at first the songs kind of sounded very similar to me, and then I was able to parse it out a little bit. But then when I listened to Anomia, it's like, oh, and this is something I more vibe with, because I like I Can't Stand Ice Skates, and I like Triple Goobery Sunrise and all. I think those are the songs that are more my speed. Surrealist is fine. I have no real problem with it. It just did not strike me very much. So when I found out that they were the Weekend Run Club, basically, I gave it another listen. It's like, okay, I understand this more. Definitely get this more. It sounds very different, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was definitely. I think the first EP has kind of too much of. You could listen to Ammonia and you would know it's the instrumentation, or some of the musicians from Weekend Run Club, because I think there are still quite a bit of a similar vibes to the whole instrumentation of the tracks.
Anomia, yes.
Yeah. And Surrealist feels like they're more going into their own, which is like with both artists, they don't have to evolve from Weekend Run Club. They can fully reinvent themselves. And with OK Cool, like with Mitchell J, it kind of feels like they have to. He has to, or they're a he/they, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got them both right. Yeah, it feels like they kind of have to evolve from Weekend Run Club, just because when you're the vocalist, that's just kind of seen a bit more. While OK Cool has so much more chance. I mean, when you're underground as shit, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
But OK Cool has so much more of a chance to just completely reinvent themselves as their own band, and I feel like Surrealist starts to do that.
And I'm very curious if they have their own successful career, and then like the Weekend Run Club is also there, and then it's kind of like a side by side thing almost.
Yeah, like Gotye and the Basics.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
comparison.
people think Gotye's dipped, but the Basics still put out music. Just no one listens to it.
Because people want Gautier, and that's, you know, and I appreciate him doing
We
his art.
want Hootie. We want Hootie.
Get this blowfish out of here. We want Hootie.
Hootie and the Blowfish is one of the worst band names there is, and I kind of stand by that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I appreciate like Hypervigilant, and how Hypervigilant has like a very 90s opening, like very ambient, almost like it's like a Massive Attack song or something, and it's like more dreamy and stuff. I think my initial issue is that, like, okay, there's differences in the first three songs, but they stuck to a one specific vibe very hard. Whereas like the thing I like about Mitchell's EP is that all four songs are different. You could definitely, like, okay, Discount Benjamin is this, Vibe Milk is this. Where it's like these first few songs, it's like, okay, Five Finger Explaining Heart Technique, it sounds a little bit more hardcore, a little bit more of that Midwestern emo stuff in there. Hurts to Be is a little bit, vocals are mixed a little bit differently. It's a bit harder to understand what they're saying. It's maybe a little bit more, you know, it's different. You know, and I Should Buy a Sword is more of an intro song. I don't know.
I like the mixing. I know it can be kind of weird when vocals are very well, lonely mixed, I guess is the way I'm not a music production guy. I couldn't really tell you what the terms are, but when the vocals are mixed at the same level as the instruments, it can feel quite weird just because you're used to vocals taking the lead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they said themselves that the reason is that they only want the vocals to be an instrument. Like they write lyrics, they try to have meaning with their lyrics, but mostly they want the vocals to be seen just as another instrument.
And also, there's like a certain lack of confidence there too, in that like being a vocalist was new, and so it's getting comfortable with being a vocalist, kind of like Mitchell's trying to do.
Hmm.
But it's like, okay, we don't have Mitchell, so let's try to do it ourselves. And I appreciate Haley and Bridget just going off and doing it themselves, especially because it's like, I think Bridget was the one who went to school for like music business, so she knows, you know, they set up a record label now.
Yeah, they take a high. I was gonna buy the Surrealist EP, but I don't have PayPal.
I mean, they're on iTunes if that matters to you.
No, I meant like physically the CD.
Oh, nice. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, but they got no PayPal, so I couldn't.
How'd you get Zoo?
That one I messaged the drummer from email
Right.
and set up a PayPal from that. They don't have a PayPal on their site for their mesh, so
Well, I mean, the drummer is one of these two. You could probably talk to them again.
probably.
Yeah, I think Haley's either Haley or Bridget's. I can't remember right. It's the drummer and the bassist.
I think Bridget's the
Drummer, yeah,
the
maybe.
drummer. Yeah,
You could probably just talk to her. I'm sure you could probably work something.
probably. Anyway, have we got much more to say about this?
Well, I did appreciate
these
Divers almost giving me like a Joy Division vibe in a way, like maybe with New Order would be more accurate.
I didn't really get that vibe, to be honest.
Like, I just was reminded
I'm
of
not
like
up on
Temptation. The Temptation's like the one song I know really well by New Order.
I don't really know any New Order or Joy Division.
Like the
But you do
opening
know.
the opening guitar riff is like very 80s, I guess, is what it boils down to.
Fair enough.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I just don't see that. I guess that's just me.
I don't know. I've been making a number of comparisons nobody seems to get this week already, so I'm just fucked, I guess.
Apparently.
Rip.
But I mean, if we're talking about favorites, I mean, I think Anomia I like more. I think all three of those songs are more interesting to me than the 5 on Surrealist. So I Can't Stand in Ice Skates and Triple Goobery Sunrise. If I had to pick one that I liked from Surrealist, maybe Hypervigilant, because that's the one where it's like, oh yeah, this is actually really different and interesting, and I appreciate the variety in the EP.
I think Ammonia is just kind of like come and go. I'm using the blender a word. And
I didn't listen to Ammonia enough, but I enjoyed what like the vibe overall.
Like, they're two different
and
vibes.
with Surrealist, I think Trix will agree with me. There's just no least favorite on that.
Yeah.
And my favorites hurts to be is a close second, but it's Five Finger Heart Exploding Technique. I think that song's just fantastic.
Yeah, I will agree. There's no least favorites, and okay, cool.
Trix, your favorite?
Let me look at the track title real quick. Sorry, I'm kind of spacing.
You're all good.
It's that post-shot disease.
Yeah, I've had a fever all night, and I'm starting to heat up again. I can feel it. I
Something's
should
wrong, I
buy
can
a
feel it.
sword. I should buy a sword again. Total mood. A Five Finger Exploding Heart Technique. I really enjoyed. I just kind of really enjoyed it all. If I'm gonna be honest, because again, I'm putting this as my number one.
I am shocked.
I feel like Trix is only saying that it's number one right now, not because they don't believe it's number one, but they don't believe that they'll actually make it in time to when we do our rankings.
No, I think I'll make it, but I that was like one of my hot takes I mentioned.
We might just derail eventually. We'll
All
get
right. Well,
there.
what's your other hot take? I know what it is. Just say it.
Oh, we'll get to it when we get to that album.
Oh no!
What's the album, Trix? Come on, let's do it. Hurt me.
I didn't really like Black Country New Road.
You're an idiot.
Let's jump to Black Country New Road. All right.
That's all I can say. You're an idiot. You don't get music. You don't understand technique. You can't stand a song that goes over 3 minutes.
You know what?
I listened to fucking doom metal, you dick.
Hey, I'll say this, okay? I had my coworker in the car with me, and I already played Kalimasi for them, and they really liked the entire album. And then I played Instrumental from Black Country, and they also really liked that.
Trix just doesn't like saxophone. It reminds her of bad times when she had to learn the sax.
Also,
I liked it, but I'd come back to the album, but it's still a number 4 for me rather this week because I like everything a little bit more than I do Black Country New Road.
Really, can I have you just call Kalimasi a blender for me? Just indulge me.
Yeah, it's a blender.
Just say the whole thing.
Kali, Masi, blender.
Thank you. Anyway, continue, please.
So, Black Country New Road. Now that Trix has put in her absolutely wrong thoughts about it, is the debut album from the England collective. Well, for the first time, is actually sorry the title of it. I don't know why. I keep thinking it's just a self-title for some reason. But yeah, Black Country New Road, kind of post-punk, kind of post-rock. Someone once described it as post-ska, which is my favorite description of the whole album.
It's a lot of things. There's math rock in there.
It's ambitious. 2 of the songs off this 6-song album were released before Athens, France, and Sunglasses, and they were completely re-recorded and at times rewritten for this album for the better, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have thought that the original versions are better, but I just had to fully disagree. And like it or not, I think even Trix would agree that this is one of the most ambitious debuts to come out as of recent.
Yeah,
it is very ambitious. Like, when I found out these were like early 20s kids, they were like fucking Gen Z as fuck. I'm like, wow, okay. This album is like something that adult men in like their late 30s could aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's so many references to their contemporaries in here, specifically Black Midi.
Yeah.
That's because they're known to be playing with Black Midi quite a lot and jam with the members. In fact, apparently at live shows, they've even referred to themselves as Black Midi New Road.
They've said they're going to do a collaboration album with them.
I so fucking hope that they do. Black Midi is so good as well. And this kind of album also seems to have this whole theme about black country in it, because you'll notice those words come up quite a lot. Science fair, there is. Yeah, Sunglasses, I believe, do it. I believe there's some in Athens, France as well.
Yeah, there's references.
Yeah. One of my favorite references in the whole album is in Athens, France, when they do a call to Phoebe Bridges' motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
where he says the line, "Why don't you speak with an English accent? I guess it's too late to change it now." I mean, I don't know how well indulged you two are with Phoebe Bridgers.
Not really.
Not much. I know
So-
of her.
So that line is originally, "Why do you sing with an English accent? I guess it's too late to change it now." And that's Phoebe singing to Ryan Adams, and that whole song is kind of about the abuse that she suffered from Ryan Adams.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and that line's referencing a concert that he sang at where he kind of faked an English accent the whole time. So I love that line from Phoebe because it's a massive fuck you to him. And
Interesting.
Black Country kind of like changes it to the way that he sings, despite being English, doesn't really have that strong English accent with him.
So I'm gonna tell you something that's probably gonna upset you.
Go ahead and say it.
His voice reminded me of Macklemore.
I can see that. Oh my god.
There's the one of his earlier songs, Macklemore. I can't remember which one it was. It might be American or And We Danced. It's And We Danced, where it becomes very melodramatic and very overpronounced and almost like faux British, intentionally. And it just sounds just like it.
I can actually somewhat see where you're coming from there, believe it or not.
Finally, something I said makes sense. All right.
Yeah, no, I can kind of see it. It helps that you explained it.
I had my Macklemore phase, and so that probably helps explain why I would know that. But
Fair enough. Don't worry, Australia did as well in 2012.
yeah,
Some
everybody
people
did.
are still pissed off that Thrift Shop won the Hottest 100.
I mean, like
Honestly, Thrift Shop's a pretty good tune.
one of my
It
closest
is.
one of my
It's
closest
fucking funny as shit.
one of my closest friends at that time, he listens to Macklemore and Muse, and his favorite thing was the Minions from Despicable Me.
Oh
Fuck.
my fucking
God.
So I
What
got huge into Muse and pretty good into Macklemore, and I just never got into Despicable Me, at least.
Thank God on that one.
Look, what I
feel
think this
obliged
album.
to make a Minion meme for this album right now, though.
Oh, are you gonna make one of those like 40-year-old aunt post memes? Haha, said butt or something.
Something like that.
I'm going to derail this conversation to get back into Black Country.
Yeah, let's talk about Black Country New Road.
Before you fuck over what is currently one of my favorite albums of the year.
Black Country New Town Road.
All I can think of is Newtown, Sydney. So, anyway,
Anyway,
where I think this, I love. Whilst I do love the lyrics on this album, specifically in Athens, France, and Sunglasses, I think where this album really shines is in its instrumentation.
yes, instrumental,
which is just
fantastic.
Which is gone from somewhat simple and leisurely to just fucking chaotic, usually in the same song.
Yes. Like my one issue, I think, especially with Sunglasses, I think Sunglasses just gets too melodramatic. Like, holy shit, does it go hard?
Well, the whole song is about his relationship with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's kind of in a higher class structure.
Yeah, leave my daddy's job out of it.
Yeah, and like the original lyrics kind of reference erectile dysfunction and stuff like that. It's weird, which also comes down into Isaac. I forgot what his last name is.
Isaac Wood.
I thought it was Wood. It's kind of self-conscious, like self-image issues, I guess, in here as well.
Ironic, his name is Wood.
He's only 22. Again, he has a voice like that, and he's only 22.
But I love Sunglasses. I think lyrically it's fantastic. It sets up a really vivid image of the situation that he's in.
Yeah.
And the whole line, "I am invincible in these sunglasses," as like you can go up, he's explained that line. He was feeling bad, but he puts on, it's a stupid thing that he did. He just put on sunglasses, and suddenly he felt a lot cooler than he actually was, and that's where the whole "I am invincible in these sunglasses" lines come from. It's kind of like hiding behind just like a pair of glasses to make you feel better.
So it's the dance scene from Spider-Man 3.
Not as melodramatic as that.
Or the blonde kid putting on the sunglasses in Breakfast Club or something.
Yeah, I think it's closer to that. But you got these images of just this large house and this very traditional family. As you can hear, in the lyrics, they talk about the the mother cooking using the kind of high-tech gadgets, the NutriBullet, or the best way of describing anything, the absolute pinnacle of British engineering.
Yeah, I saw people criticizing some of the lyrics for being so referential, but it's like we're just
It's what makes it good, in my opinion.
he's talking about just very specific things in life, and I don't think that's a bad thing. He's just like he's talking about NutriBullets. He's talking about referencing like the highest achievement in British engineering and all that stuff. I feel like that comes from something. That's just something he would hear, and so putting that all together, especially in an album that embraces like free jazz and experimentalism, just makes sense.
The lyrics are already as ambiguous, and there are moments in it which aren't so. I'm just trying to think of a good word here. They're not so specific as other moments are, and just because some moments on here are very, very specific, doesn't mean that they're bad or they can't be. I mean, it can't like the whole leave Kanye and my daddy's job out of this. Like that's the whole thing seems to be coming from his girlfriend's point of view, and it's kind of her. It's like her having a response to him,
Sure.
kind of having a go at her for this whole difference in class structure here, and saying, I'm." It's kind of him also realizing by writing these lyrics that despite the differences that they have, she is still a person, and there are still reasons to love her. There are still reasons to value her.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, say they listen to different music and have different parents or like a different growing up, it doesn't mean that they're not alike. Plus, the absolute just like desperation in Isaac's vocals during the whole outro to the song.
Yeah, that whole segment
is so fucking good.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Like to generate that amount of energy.
I was actually very surprised that you liked Track X more.
I think Track X got me back on it after Sunglasses because it's just like this is an album where they can do anything and it will fit pretty much. And so it's like after getting slightly derailed by how off kilter and like discordant Sunglasses gets, which makes sense, but it's also hard to listen to a little bit.
Although I will say I will fight either of you if you think the riff to Sunglasses, especially in that opening part, is not fucking S tier.
It's great.
Pretty cool.
It's like a metal-y guitar track.
Yeah.
And it was a song that was originally released in 2019, but thanks to it being rewritten at parts and re-recorded, I can consider it a 2021 track, which is great because it's currently in contention for my song of the year. I love it to bits.
But like the Track X, it's like they got violins happening. They got they got something that's a little bit more beautiful sounding and shorter. So it's like it's a very distinct shift. And I'm always in for those weird shifts.
What if I told you I loved you in front of Black Midi?
I literally have that written down as a quote.
Yeah, someone made a meme of what if we kissed in front of Black Midi.
You've got great
hips. We
hips.
held toes the Black Midi concert.
And then I mean, Opus is also cool because Opus is like faster paced and like it's got horns and it's sad and I don't know. It's like a lot of time signature changes or at least some. I don't know. It's very interesting to me. Like this is like you said, this is an album of like a lot of ambition. For 6 tracks, it is so ambitious.
So ambitious, so magnificent. It's the purpose, and it's so magnificent.
Like
actually, I don't think either of you have listened to Black Midi, so I don't know if you get that one.
No, but I was interestingly, I heard this the phrase klezmer music applied to both Shakey Graves and Black Country New Road, and klezmer music. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Is like kind of like an Ashkenazi Jewish kind of traditional folk music kind of thing, which I don't know. Considering
I somewhat see it in Black Country specifically during like the outro to Science Fair.
Yeah,
which God, that build up is just so fucking haunting.
They do a lot of great build-ups.
I know. I love Afrin's France because it kind of builds up and it goes back to how the song does, but it's such a good outro to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Science Fair doesn't really have an outro; it's just a build-up, and then it just ends.
Yeah,
it's haunting.
It's the blue balls.
But then it goes straight into these
album.
fucking distorted guitars for 1 minute and 40 seconds to start off Sunglasses, which it's a 10-minute song. For people who aren't into post-rock or post-punk, Sunglasses is a song you would absolutely fucking hate. Because it's just not for anybody who's new to these genres.
It really says something that, like, when I heard everything I listened to this week, my initial response was just to buy all of it.
Yeah, I picked up the negative vinyl on Bandcamp Friday for Black Country. I originally picked up the CD off Bandcamp for Black Country before I even heard a single song, just because I heard people were raving about it so much. And I'm glad I did. It's currently one of my favorite albums of the year.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I don't know where it really sits for me, maybe overall yet. Like, it's probably gonna be high up there, but it's gonna be something I return to quite a bit, I imagine.
Look, to spoil next week's choice, I am gonna continue on with the post-rock theme. So let's see how it goes.
Are you finally doing Mogwai?
No comment yet, Dominic.
Okay. You okay, Trix?
Yeah, I'm alive.
Just taking some heroin. Keep the brain functioning, you know.
Any much else to say about Black Country there?
It was interesting, but it's definitely a number 3 in comparison, or number 4 in comparison to what else we had this week. If you ask me.
I just could not disagree more on that. I can get how you could like okay, cool and stuff more, but I just feel that there was so much better done on this than some of the other stuff. Granted, it's your opinion, so I can't really see it myself.
I am shocked at how diverse our opinions are going to be this week. I did not expect this at all.
Well, I'm just gonna go and say my favorites and my least favorites here. Favorite is Sunglasses. I know a lot of people don't like the new version, but those people are just wrong. It's currently one of my favorite tracks of the year. When I do my top 100 songs of the year, if it's not in the top 5, we've had a really fucking good year.
Okay.
All right.
And my least favorite, it's not really a least favorite because I like every song off here, but if there was one that I could say just doesn't fit the flow as much as everything else does, it would be track X.
And for me, my favorites could probably be Instrumental. I really like Instrumental a lot. It's a great opener. It's a great vibe. And if I had to pick one I don't like as much as the others, probably Sunglasses. It's just not as good as the others to me.
It's alright, you like the album, so your opinion matters.
I'm too fried right now to pick a favorite and least favorite.
Well,
why get high off illegal drugs when you can get high off the coronavirus vaccine?
I'm not even really like high. I'm just like feverish and exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect time to then talk about your pick, Shakey Graves.
All right, so now I get to piss off Trix. Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, I'll bring it down.
I talked a bit before this podcast started about country in Australia. We never really had it here. We more had closer to folk. We did have some artists that we considered country here, but again, they were mostly folk. Some artists that were mainstream everywhere came here, like Johnny Cash was known here, but even he's not as popular as he was in America. As I was also saying before, Little Nas X, yeah, Old Town Road got played here, but it did not get played here as much as it would have in America. In fact, Call Me By Your Name, I only hear on underground radio here. Yeah, I've never heard it on any mainstream radio. And I'm in my girlfriend's car with mainstream radio playing quite enough that I would have a chance to hear it. So country's never really been big here, so I've never really grown up in country. And I know this isn't just country, it has elements of alternative and other
folky
stuff, but
some blues.
Again, blues was never really too big here either, but just none of this was sounds that I grew up on, and they're not really sounds that intrigue me now.
Fair
Although, when it comes to more modern country influenced artists that have been popular, this is fucking miles ahead of Orville Peck. So it gets that.
I was interested in
who that is.
For some reason, Orville Peck is popular. I guess to the people who like him, whatever. But could not get into a single one of his fucking songs.
Fair.
I was interested in how this was like apparently a child actor who just became super devoted to doing like country, folk, Americana stuff. And the whole story about the guitar, Jay Manley, and all that stuff that comes in and like the the newer stuff that got released. Like there's the album, and then there's like this whole other CD of outtakes and B-sides and just this whole story being told about the guitar that he got and why it is the way that it is. That was the stuff that really intrigued me a lot. Like, I think the album itself, Roll the Bones original, there's some good stuff on there. Roll the Bones, I like quite a bit. The live track that they have, City in a Bottle, great performance.
Yep.
I can see why they put it on there.
Horns.
Yeah, like the whole thing. Especially because it's like, Shakey Graves himself is somebody who is very much like a busker. He's like a one-man band kind of guy. He can do, 5 different things, have it all sound pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what was interesting to me though is I think I prefer like the other stuff compared to the original. Like, I really got into the whole story of the guitar, where that whole thing went.
Yeah.
And I think some of the B-sides too are some of the best songs. Like, I think Chinatown is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's a very old sounding song. It's got like 30s, 40s kind of like progression, intonation stuff. Well, not like a doo-wop chorus. It's got like some wah-wahs in there. It's got very old sounding technique going on, and I really appreciated that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like the interview stuff. It's not voicemails. Just having an interview there, just having the interview there, kind of like guide things. I think is really interesting, especially as like I think the fun thing about these odds and ends kind of are how he just keeps exploring more and more stuff. It goes away from just the strict Americana, and then it's like, I think stuff like maybe the Daily All, for example, sounds like a Sufjan Stevens song.
I'll give you that. And like Pansy Waltz talks about like astronauts and the moon.
Right. And so like having like Chinatown being this whole other thing, that is stuff I really appreciated. That's stuff where it's like this album is actually really, really good to me. Like, I think this is one of our best weeks so far this year, because I think everything is pretty strong in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think my stuff would live up to these other 2 albums, and I guess for you two it has.
Yeah.
Ritz, what did you think of the story, at least? The Jay Manley stuff?
I didn't really get invested enough to have an opinion.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy. Where I just don't really have I'm listening to this album right now. I've been listening to it as the podcast has been going on. I still got really nothing to say about it. This is just a style that just does not grab me in any way. That's about it. That's as much as I can say.
I mean, if that's how you feel, that's fine. I mean, I am a little curious if everything that he's been saying about the guitar and Jay Manley is on the level. It's not bullshit to some degree. I would like it to be true.
At least the part about like the guitars having a mojo and wanting them to be played, and they want you to be played in like a specific way. I can attest to that personally.
Right. But like having Jay Manley be like this World War II veteran who played jazz in the 30s and had to like break his fingers to keep playing the guitar because of an accident that happened. It's all really interesting. It's like, that sounds like it could be such like a yarn, Like he's really spinning a story
it's
there.
One of those things where it seems too specific to be made up.
I would hope so.
That's how I'm looking at it, at least.
But like, it's like if it really is true, then I fully embrace it and I love it. But I would be disappointed, I guess, if it was made up to some degree.
Fair enough.
Especially when it's like, because it's like there's that part where he talks about getting the guitar and learning how to tune it, and like how it would dive out of tune, and he had to like figure out where it wanted to go, and how from that he started writing Roll the Bones.
Yeah, that part I can like attest to, like having bought many vintage instruments. Guitars do that. Absolutely.
And then it's like they go to an early version of Roll the Bones after that, and that's a really cool like placement. Yeah. I appreciate that kind of way that flows together.
Yeah.
Do any of these songs, like, are these other songs from like other albums or something?
Later versions are like and like it's Shakey Graves is one of those artists where like every time he performs it's slightly different.
Sure. Yeah.
So like if I go to And the War Came, I think would be one. Let's see here. Pansy Waltz is on And the War Came. That's about it.
Right, because it's
he
like
performs them all like live and stuff.
you have all these like early versions and stuff like that. It's like I don't know what these are referring to.
I think the versions that you would like see online are like the live versions.
Sure, but I guess
Because like his.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say his most famous DP is his first one where he's live on Audio Tree.
I was gonna say though, I think it's interesting then that a lot of that stuff originated from this initial recording session or just initial period of time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he's trying to say.
Like, recorded it over like 10 years.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, are all these odds and ends meant to be from that era?
I guess so.
That's interesting then. If he keeps like revisiting it for other albums, yeah, I mean, probably the interview stuff's recorded later. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he uses a lot of stuff. He's written a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I really dug this. I was really interested in it, especially since it's like we've had a couple albums now that are part album, part like demo. Let's throw everything else in there, kind of thing. And compared to like Mike Kroll, compared to Powderfinger, I think this is the one I prefer the most out of all of that style.
Yeah, this is definitely the best one for that.
Yeah, it does something with it. It's not just like here's a bunch of shit that we trying to put on there on top of the album. This is like curated. This is like guided through. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And thus, discussion ended.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have
Nothing
much else to
else
say.
was led to say.
Album good.
Album great. Roll the Bones, great song. City in a Bottle, great performance. Chinatown, wonderful. My favorite, probably Chinatown. Roll the Bones. Least favorite, I don't know. Let's just say something like I don't really remember what the Seal Hunter is right now, so I'm just gonna say that.
That was the one that was like weirdly sexual and like.
Oh yeah, definitely that one then. About dicks.
Yeah, that one's my least favorite too.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
I've got no favorites or least favorites.
A good favorite for me. I'm a big fan of like Late July. How it starts with like that a cappella choir and then goes into like just this like outlaw country of like how he kept stealing and lying and like how he's gonna face the chair in Late July.
Oh, which song has the jokes?
That was Pansy Waltz, the Unique Rabbit.
Yeah, I love those. Those are so funny. It's so stupid, but I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
You got your unique rabbit. Unique up on it.
Are we done with the Shakey Graves?
Unique up on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now before we go into the album rankings here, Dominic, do you want to hear about my my CD find the other day?
Sure.
So yesterday, originally what was planned was gonna do a record hunt with a bunch of people from Oz Music Discord, but then Corona kind of had a bit of a restriction over here again, and that got cancelled. So instead, me and my friend went down south Wollongong way. Not me and my friend, me and my brother. I don't know why I said friend, but I guess
Hopefully your brother's your friend.
Yeah, I guess it's both. Anyway, we decided to go down Wollongong way just ourselves, and we hit some thrift shops on the way there.
Did you pop some tags?
Didn't pop some tags, but did buy some CDs. And Dominic, I found the 2 CD set, both CDs. I guess one's technically a DVD of Justices Across the Universe.
Oh.
Yeah, and it seems like with the live, I don't know if this is a DJ set or what it is, because they got a bunch of songs that aren't theirs on here, like 2 Minutes to Midnight and NY Excuse.
I mean, 10 Minutes to Midnight is one of their songs.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was an Iron Maiden.
It's also it is also the name of an Iron Maiden.
Oh, maybe
I'm pretty sure NY Excuse is Soulwax though.
Yeah, it's not theirs. It's a sample. I mean, and like the finale is just Master of Puppets. It's just straight up the riff from Master of Puppets, and then like they put on the girl from the party on top of it. That's
pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a fantastic live album.
Yeah, well, I found both CDs in there for $1.
The documentary concert thing that comes along with it's a little fucked, but the songs are good.
Yeah, it comes with the audio CD as well, and I don't know if that was on Spotify.
Interesting.
It's on YouTube Music.
Everything's on YouTube Music except Seismic.
Not everything. Not everything. There's some OC's albums that aren't on YouTube Music for whatever reason.
Oh no. Quick
No,
quick
Across the
derailment.
Universe is on Spotify. I
Quick-
just never noticed it before.
Quick derailment. I just found a little gash in my Switch screen.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Hopefully it's not damaged.
I need to charge my Switch. It's been like 6 months since I've used it.
I guess that's the risk of having a giant fucking screen.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, it was a pretty good Vinnies as well, because I also found Florence and the Machines Between Two Lungs, which has one of my favorite live performance songs ever. And that was, I think it was the MTV Awards, when it was her and Dizzy Rascal. Might not have been MTV, it might have been on BBC or something. But and they went and did a mashup of You've Got the Love and Dirty Cash. Such a great fucking song, that one.
Put my Switch in a drawer. Hopefully it's not damaged too much. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dominic Switch.
So
Let's get into some album rankings.
yeah, I'll go first because I think mine is more different than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Including Anomia, my number 5 pick is going to be Surrealist. Number 4 is going to be Mitchell. Number 3 is going to be Anomia. Number 2 is Shakey Graves. Number 1 is Black Country New Road.
Chicks, you want to go first?
Sure.
No, second.
I'm not gonna count Anomia because I only listened to it once. But number 4, Black Country New Road. Number 3, Mitchell J. Number 2, Shakey Graves, and number 1, Surrealist.
At number 5, it's number 4 and number 5 are kind of a tie, but I'll give number 5 to Anomia and number 4 to Shakey Graves. It's could be flip flop depending on the day, but I feel like that one's the one I'm more happy for the ranking now. Number 3, I'm gonna have to give to Mitchell. Number 2, Surrealist, and then number 1 is Black Country.
That's way more different than I expected it to be. All right, this is why Dissonant Waves exists, for all of our differing opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Are we willing to say now what our next episode is going to be about?
I think we let Trix go first because she might die waiting.
I'm gonna be doing Black Sabbath's debut.
Interesting.
What is it called?
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Black Sabbath.
Oh, okay.
I might throw a couple songs from Volume 4, but I need to. That'll come later if I can figure it out.
You see, I learnt a lot about Black Sabbath growing up because my mum had Paranoid as her ringtone.
Great tune.
Nice. All right.
Dominic, you want to go before me?
Sure. I went back and forth about which album to choose because we're doing Of Montreal, and I decided to go for it. It's gonna be a long-term project we're gonna revisit every now and then. So we're gonna go to the Georgie Fruit saga, starting with Hissing Fawn Are You the Destroyer, with the EP Icons Abstract Thee, because they were released in the same month.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've listened to either, but this is the era of Montreal that I actually like. So
this is the era that they were most popular, and I think people like each Georgie Fruit album I've heard is like someone's favorite.
Apparently, the new of Montreal was actually good. So
also, Kevin Barnes apologizing for Georgie Fruit recently does warm my heart a little bit. It makes me okay exploring this again.
And now, as I die, I'd like to point out that Dominic was indeed correct. This is an album that I plan to do when it released, and then postponements happened, other releases happened, and unlike most stuff that gets planned and then never covered, I'm actually going to go back and say, yes, we're doing this. And this is Mogwai's As the Love Continues, their new album that came out a couple months ago, which got into the news for being their first #1 album after 25 years as a band.
That's pretty incredible.
Plus, it continues on with the UK artists, since they're I think they're Scottish.
Yeah, and that's another 2021 album for you.
Until then, though, I have been a Ritalin. You can catch me at our website, ritalinforkids.github.io. I used to have a YouTube channel. I don't expect anything on there ever again. YouTube is for idiots. But saying that, you're only listening to this on YouTube, so
Well, I've been Dominic.
I've going to continue.
You can catch me. I'm Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICH. I've written for places like Tilting Mill Studios. I have a YouTube channel, but it's not really worth checking out unless you like game clips. Yeah. You can also catch Dissonant Waves on Twitter at Dissonant Waves. We have a website, dissonantwaves.space. Hopefully that's up by now. Yeah, Trix is the Twitter is procrastinaut_. That's just procrastinating astronaut with an underscore.
If she's not here last week, the vaccines conspiracies will continue.
I should be fine by tomorrow, but I didn't want to postpone.
We appreciate
the last
it.
time that you wanted vaccines, you also wanted edibles.
Yeah.
Is that Dominic?
I don't think it was last time, but yeah.
I've not taken edibles before recording before, but maybe I will.
No.
Maybe when we get to Dope Smoker, we'll all do that one.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us, everybody. Have a great day-night cycle thing.